The Dark Bible. Morality and contradictions. Be wise as serpents. Point. Slay enemies. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither, and slay them before me. Luke 19:27. Comment. Although Jesus in one instance calls for the love of enemies, at the end of the parable of 10 pounds, he orders to slay his enemies that would deny his reign. Luke 19:12-27. Despite the commandment not to kill, Jesus accepts the killing of humans here. Believers try to escape this problem by claiming, well, it's just a parable. Of course, when Jesus gives a parable about love or living, then the parable serves as an important lesson which the faithful should take seriously. So also must any of Jesus' parables. Nor can one escape by route of metaphorical excuse. The parable clearly connects the nobleman with Jesus, see verse 12, and there occurs no other meaning for a metaphorical slay other than words like kill, slaughter, massacre, etc. Although there occurs scholarly debate as to whether Jesus meant verse 27 as part of the parable or as a non-parable conclusion, it has far more serious consequences if believed as a parable. Why? Because a parable instructs beyond the lifetime of the parable's author. If the author of these words meant it only as an example during Jesus' alleged life on earth, then it would serve only as a request of Jesus during his lifetime. But as a parable, it lives through the followers of Jesus who believe that he still lives in heaven and that they might follow his commands, even after his death and resurrection. As a parable then, slaying of enemies before me, in Jesus' spirit, instructs believers well past the alleged life of Jesus. If anyone need biblical justification to kill anyone who denies Jesus, or whom you believe acts as an enemy, you need only to believe this verse. Synagogues of Satan. But this thou hast, that thou hatest the deeds of the Nicolaitanes, which I also hate. Revelation 2:6. I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Revelation 2:9. So hast thou also them that hold the doctrine of the Nicolaitanes, which the thing I hate. Revelation 2:15. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Revelation 3:9. Comment. These verses by Jesus has fueled the engine of anti-Semitism throughout Europe and the rest of the world for centuries. Unfortunately, many believers today still justify their hatred of Jews based on Scripture. Note that we have here in Rev 2:6 the words of Jesus admitting to hate, contrary to the belief by many Christians that Jesus holds only to the principle of love. The talking donkey. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with a staff. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, What have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? And Balaam said unto the ass, Because thou hast mocked me, I would there were a sword in mine hand, for now would I kill thee. And the ass said unto Balaam, Am not I thine ass, upon which thou hast ridden ever, since I was thine unto this day? Was I ever wont to do so unto thee? And he said, Nay. Point. Numbers 22:27-30. Comment. Here we have, as absurd as it may seem, a talking donkey. If we came across a talking animal, would we not feel amazed? Yet, oddly, Balaam here seems not the least bit concerned and converses with the ass, as if nothing unusual had happened. Given that millions of fundamentalists believe every word in the Bible, they would have us also believe that the Bible has its own version of Mr. Edition. Notice that Balaam's cruel behavior to the donkey seems to have mimicked God's jealous behavior towards his people. Yet God responds to Balaam, Thy way is perverse before me. Num 20-32. If the Bible had said that Jonah swallowed the whale, I would believe it. William Jennings Bryan. The gods. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Exodus 23. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I the Lord thy God am a jealous God, visiting unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me. Exodus 25. Comment. Note this does not mean I am the only God, but rather, that one shall not believe in other gods above the God of the chosen people. Scholars and archaeologists know that the early Hebrews practiced polytheism. Not only does the Bible describe the polytheism of the Hebrews, but digs from archaeological sites give evidence that these early people believed in many gods, or more accurately, goddesses. They have found many statuette goddesses among their living dwellings. Monotheism appears later in the Bible. Historically, monotheism got taught by many Greek philosophers. Judaism later separated itself from the Hellenistic world with its belief in only one supreme deity. In verse 25 we have here a God so jealous that he holds a grudge against the children of the fathers who hated him. Hardly a concept of a forgiving and loving God. And if not against the other gods, just who could God claim for his jealousy? The sun stands still. Then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day, when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel, and he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou, moon, in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about a whole day. Joshua 10:12-13. Comment. These verses imply that the sun moves around the earth. If the Bible actually represents the words or inspired words of God, then why didn't the great Creator inspire them to tell the truth about the universe and our solar system? Also, the Bible asks us to believe that a supposedly loving God made the sun stand still for the sole purpose of helping the Israelites slaughter the Amorites. How can one not see that these verses would insult the intelligence of any person who believes God possess wisdom, knowledge and love? Turn thy cheek. But I say unto you, that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. Matthew 5:39. Comment. This nonviolent principle does not originate with Jesus. Lao Tzu and the Buddha taught this 500 or 600 years before Jesus, but does this represent a good rule to follow? Ironically, few Christians hold to this principle. In fact, the religious right preach just the opposite, as Christians throughout the centuries have violently attacked anyone who dared threaten them. Although one should not overly react, if smacked on the cheek, it might prove prudent to raise your hand in defense or at least leave the scene of trouble to avoid conflict. If you turn your other cheek to get smacked again, your enemy may just break your jaw or beat you to a pulp. Wars must be. And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must needs be, but the end shall not be yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in divers places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows. Mark 13:7-8. Comment. Belief in these words can justify any war and atrocity against nations. Yet Jesus here tells us that we should not feel troubled by it as long as we have belief in Him. When Jesus prophesies about the future, He gives the message that we have no control over our lives other than to choose or